Found out wife cheating on me, so I started the investigation. I, 35M, have been married 7 years to my 33F wife, no kids. 2 years ago, she started a new career and has been very successful. At the time she mentioned a man that she works with but said on more than one occasion that he was a jerk and she didn't like to work with him. Since then she has softened a bit and really doesn't mention him much. I felt like I had no reason for concern. I've always trusted my wife, and although our marriage is not perfect, I felt like we got along pretty well. Fast forward to about a month ago, I started noticing some changes in behavior. She was texting a lot more and never letting her phone leave her side. She seemed to have more things going on at night and on the weekends. She became cold toward me and wouldn't reciprocate any affection. And she lied to me several times about strange things. The last lie was when she was packing for a business trip, and I noticed she had purchased a new, much more revealing bathing suit than anything I'd ever seen her wear. I asked her about it, and she said she ordered it online. Not true, and once she tried it on, decided it wasn't appropriate for a business trip to Florida with her colleagues. So she leaves for the trip and takes the bathing suit. While she was gone, I decided to do a little digging. I'd never in our entire relationship ever gone through my wife's things, but I'd had enough of all the lies. In one of her work bags, I found a drawing someone had done of her, almost like a caricature, but it was done on paper from a hotel. I also found a post-it note with driving directions to her male coworker's house written in her handwriting. I went through our bank statements and found that many times when she was supposedly at work, she was out to different restaurants around the city. This was enough for me to investigate further. I'm a private investigator by trade, and ethically I have no problem invading someone's privacy. When confronted with reasonable suspicion of wrongdoing, I placed a GPS tracker in her car, legal in my state since the car is titled in my name. The Sunday after she got back from her trip, she told me she was going to work at a coffee shop and run some errands. Her car never came within 1 mile of a Chipotle, but when she got home she walked in holding a Chipotle cup and confirmed she had eaten there. Then on the following Tuesday, she told me she had to go to a company dinner and would be working late until the dinner. The GPS showed her leaving work at 3:20 p.m. and driving to the restaurant where her car remained until 9:00 p.m. The final straw came on the next Saturday. We were supposed to watch my niece play tennis at 8:00 a.m. She said she wanted to drive separately so she could leave from the venue and go work at a coffee shop. After the match, she told me she was heading to X coffee shop and added a few details about why she wanted to go to that coffee shop. I said have a good day and went to my vehicle. Well, on the GPS, I watched as she drove directly to a Comfort Inn motel. I got to the Comfort Inn and waited in an adjacent parking lot until I could confirm she was actually in the building and not sitting in her car. I called her from the lobby and asked how was X coffee shop. She said it was good. Why? The only other thing I said was come down here so we can get this over with. Once she came down, she said these exact words, "It's not what you think, he has to do this because he's been caught with other girls before." I asked what she was talking about and she said that he always works in hotel rooms. She said that they didn't do anything physical, and that's when I told her to get out of my car. I drove away and she called 50 times. I finally answered and I told her if she tells me even one lie I'm hanging up. She said that they did kiss once about 5 months prior, but that it was a mistake and didn't mean anything. She said again that they were just working. I asked how many times had she met him in hotels, and she said about 10 over the last 9 months. I then asked what she did on that Tuesday, and she became defensive. She said she was at work all day until the work dinner. I called her a liar and hung up the phone. She showed up at our house where I was loading up my car with my belongings and my dog. She stood in the driveway refusing to move until I talked to her. She was in hysterics, crying and apologizing. I moved out that day and have been gone for a month. We have met a few times for her to try to explain things. However, when it becomes my turn to ask questions, she becomes very upset, gets defensive, and says things like answering these questions isn't good for the relationship. She's also lied about several of the details, even when the details seem completely inconsequential. I've called her on the lies, and she accuses me of trapping her by asking questions I already know the answers to. Through all of this, she has remained constant that this was not a romantic relationship. She said that she became really good friends with this man and that he was helping her with her career. She admitted that their conversations would become inappropriate when they would talk about our marital issues. She's admitted to texting him and deleting the text, saying that they weren't romantic but could be seen as flirting. She said that she has been depressed for a really long time and he was good at talking her out of those feelings and encouraging her in her work. I know I'm being mind F, but there's a part of me that believes her. It may be that I want to believe her because I love her or I'm afraid of the truth. I'm really hung up on finding out the truth, but the reality is I don't see any way that I can get over the facts that I do know, so why does it matter? Am I losing my mind? Update. We are a month out from D-Day. I spoke with her last night and here are the highlights. I asked if she has talked to the man over the last 4 weeks. She said that he doesn't know that I showed up to the hotel on D-Day and called her out. She said that she hasn't talked to him about the situation because this is an issue in our marriage and doesn't involve him. I asked if she has stopped all non-work-related communication with him. She said that she is tapering down. Tapering down. I lost it. She said she feels like she has to taper down rather than no contact because he doesn't know that I busted her. Infuriating. She then lied about a completely insignificant detail. I called her on it and I was 100% confident that she was lying. She denied to the point of yelling and never relented. I left it and chalked it up as one more unresolved issue in this saga. Update 2. After she told me she was tapering off social communication with the other man, I hid a voice recorder in my house and left. Last night I reviewed the tape and discovered my wife and this other man had spent well over an hour on the phone with each other over the course of at least 2 phone calls. My recorder died in the afternoon. I would assume they talked again in the evening if not more. I didn't hear too many specifics from the phone call, but I did hear a few *****ing things. They talked for a while about the current state of affairs in our marriage, something she claimed he knew nothing about. They talked about how to use the secret phone app on their phones so as not to be detected. She called me a D for showing up late for breakfast that morning. And they talked and laughed about a million other topics. I haven't heard my wife that giddy since we were dating. I confronted her about all of this and she admitted to some of it, denied other parts of it. I don't really care anymore. Update 3. For the past 2 weeks I have gone no contact with my wife. A few days ago she texted me and asked if we could talk. I told her unless she's willing to confess to everything that I was not willing to talk. She then said she knows I wiretapped her phone, didn't do, but let her believe it, and that I already know everything. I told her I need to hear it from her directly. She finally agreed to sit down and tell me everything. She came to my house and confessed that her relationship with the other man was indeed sexual and that it had been going on for the past 6 months. She admitted that she purchased a hotel room one day before our anniversary to be with him. She also confirmed that she had continued talking to him after being caught, and he was helping her deal with my questions. She claims that she has now broken it off with the other man for good and wants to work on our marriage. This confession came 6 agonizing weeks after I caught her in the hotel. I believe the only reason she confessed is due to my persistence. However, she said that she was always planning to tell me but wanted to make sure it wouldn't hurt either one of us too badly. The damage done during those 6 weeks is unsurmountable.